Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, wherever you are on this bright planet Earth, the spaceship in space that we call Earth. Anywho, welcome to Conscious Radio Network. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Paul Meckes. Today, wherever you are, our special guest tonight with an extensive background in ancient civilizations, ancient languages, secret societies, the original mystery school teachings, world religions, nutrition, exercise, martial arts, and yoga, as well as being a specialist in the power of sound. Since childhood, he had gifts of clairvoyance, clairaudience. Christopher feels that these are other abilities, while blessed gifts are merely byproducts of his conscious union with the one source. That we are all part of and inseparable from. Christopher is the founder of the Blue Star Mystery School, which is celebrating its 34th year. Let's welcome Christopher Timms. Welcome, Chris. How you doing?
Thank you, my friend. Nice to be able to talk with you.
Same here. Same here. It's an honor. After meeting you and seeing your work over the course of the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, time is flying.
Boy,
I've been astounded by the work that you do and the stuff that I see you do as far as sound, but we want to dive a little bit into other things that you work in. So how would you like to open up the show? We were presenting a little bit earlier.
Yes. Well, thank you. And thanks for the opportunity to be able to hang with you and just to be able to kind of unpack everything here for us. I think because of the situation that we're in right now in the world, and of course, the world is a reflection of the conflicts and the transformation that's happening within each one of us. I think it's really important that we take just a few minutes together. Let's do a guided meditation. I'd love to walk everyone through a meditation that I do with the Insiders group most days of the week.
Absolutely.
So, good. That'd be great. All right, everyone, just close your eyes and allow your attention and allow your awareness to gather gently and sweetly upon the spiritual eye, the place between the brows and slightly above them. And watch. Coming together in our circle, joining hands, left palm up, right palm down. As we connect with each other, we immediately feel this current of energy, this life force moving to the left and moving to the right, clockwise and counterclockwise. It spins around and around our circle. Slow at first, moving through each one of us. And as the moments pass, it moves faster, becomes stronger, more intense, and we can begin to see this energy streaking like comets, moving clockwise and counterclockwise around our circle. Comets that look like blue-white living light. Faster and faster, this light moves, becoming stronger, brighter, more intense until rings of light, just 2 rings of light, moving around and around and around our circle, filling each one of us from our toes, through our knees, our hips, with this blue-white living light as it fills the interior of our circle. It fills each one of us as it moves across our stomach, our hearts, across our shoulders, and as it fills our faces, spills across our shoulders, covering the entirety of our world, our spaceship Earth, as it reaches down into the center of our planet and extends out to the outer bands of our atmosphere. Everything filled with this blue-white living light. All the creatures of the sky and the land and the great waters every molecule of air, every drop of water, all thoughts and feelings, everything filled with this blue white living light. We hold space together in our circle for our world in this time of great transformation. We hold space for all of the world's leaders in the center of our circle: religious leaders, spiritual leaders, political, social leaders, military leaders. We place them in the center of our circle. We hold space for them to listen to their hearts, listen to the still small voice. And we hold space for all the leaders of our world in business, in religion, in politics, in all the different ways that our world is shaped. Let all of these leaders be inspired to put down selfishness and greed, fear, anger, lust, put down it all. Let them be all guided by their hearts. And peace will prevail. So as we take a nice deep breath and blow it away, gently open our eyes. And that's how we all walk into the age of Aquarius.
That was very, very awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I love that circle. That's a meditation I've done for years and years with people. You know, it varies from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the theme is the same, and we're all really in that circle. We just dream that we incarnate to places like this. We dream that we have our births and deaths and our missions, our purposes, all these things, but we're really there in the
Mhm.
circle of life together. We've never been anywhere, done anything other than just connected with each other.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and then bringing the leaders of the world in, and you know, bringing them peace and letting them, especially now what's going on
Right,
today, and
right.
it's very important that we ask for blessings for all those that are leading the charge, in this world, that
We
they do
do.
work with their heart rather than their, other interests.
Yes, yes. Because, it, the majority of the world leaders, and this transitions us, bridges us into where we want to go now in our discussion. The world's leaders have all been thoroughly conditioned by what's called the egregores, or the conjured spirit of the age of Pisces. And the age of Pisces spirit uh, is a reflection or a conjugation, however you want to call it, of all of the qualities of what Pisces was here to teach us about dualism, the fish swimming in
Yeah.
opposing directions, and patriarchy, and the externalization of energies. The technologies are all explosion energies. The engines run on explosions. Reactors run on controlled explosions. All of this, all the technology relates to Piscean age stuff, and we understand that because that's what Pisces was here to teach us. The The problem is what we're having right now is that the conjured spirit of the age of Pisces has met, and there's the transitional band that we're really deeply into now,
Hmm.
into the age of Aquarius. And the the best way to explain it to you is that at 1945 was a really key date. Of course, we were in the midst of World War II. It was the
Yeah.
dawning of the nuclear age, the horrors of it all, you know, and all of those things. But that was a big marker. And let's look at some of the measuring devices that we can use to see what really happened from 1945. I think everybody will really find this fun, Paul.
Yeah.
Because it as soon as you get it, as soon as everybody gets the insight, then you go, I understand what's going on now. And then you'll feel better because it's a degree of mastery over the situation. We
uh,
can't control the situation, but mastery has to do with insight, not trying to control everything.
yeah. Yeah.
The wisdom. Make sense? So
Yeah. Yeah.
after 1945, all these strange things began to happen. 1947, we have the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Mm,
We have the discovery of the Nag Hammadi Library, the Gnostic texts on the northern banks of Egypt. We have the Roswell incident,
mm,
which was real. You know,
yeah.
my one of my uncles from Texas, he's passed away now. He was a Air Force colonel, and he was actually there.
Wow.
And he told me one night when he was in his late 70s, I was visiting with him, that hey, all that was real. I saw the bodies. I can tell you.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I mean, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. We were just sitting in the chairs talking, and I
Yeah.
said, Uncle Harry, you got to tell me. Yeah, and
Right on.
so right. So 1945, 1947, you had these things happening. And these things don't just spontaneously happen. They're all part of a cosmic clock called precession, the big 26,000-year cycle.
Mhm.
And as we began to merge now, the early to late 40s pushed us into the beginnings, the whispers of the age of Aquarius, what was coming. So we exploded literally into the nuclear age. And now we have these discoveries. We have Nag Hammadi Library. We have the Dead Sea Scrolls, which totally changed everything, which is why the Catholic Church came in and tried to take control of it all, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. And then you had Roswell, and you had other corresponding UFO incidents in Russia, in the Soviet Union, and other parts of the world simultaneously happening right around the exact same time of Roswell. Interesting. So this is the cosmos giving you signals. Here's these ancient texts to tell you some real stories about what really happened all back then. And
Yeah.
now here's the UFO stuff. Here's a big boost in technology because now you can reverse engineer stuff, you know, all of this. So we just began to explode with technology as you look, and see what happened from there on. And then if the most fluid part of culture is always music and art.
Hmm.
And then as we proceeded on into the 50s, all of a sudden we moved from listening to Glenn Miller and the big band music, which was amazing music, amazing musicians, and all that kind of great stuff. We exploded. Then all of a sudden, you have Elvis shaking his hips on stage. You have Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper. You have all of this happening. You know, pastors and priests were telling people, don't listen to rock and roll. Elvis is evil.
Yeah.
He's the demon. All of this kind of stuff. And it was it was the discovery of what was next, and art and music were reflecting that. Guys are now, the musicians, instead of wearing suits, everybody was playing big band music, swing music, and they're all wearing suits and ties. Now you have guys wearing long hair, you have earrings, you have tie-dyed clothes, you have all this paisley art going on, and a total explosion in new directions of art, music, dance, all the interpretive arts. Everything began to shift as if something clicked in a clock, and it just changed. There was no gentle transition.
Yeah.
There was, all of a sudden, people are picking up electric guitars now. what? Wait a minute, what's happening here? And everything just exploded.
Yeah, like
And
Woodstock.
right, right. Being a musician, I really watched all that throughout my life. It's just been amazing to study that and to see that. So now, as you have the transitional energies, you had the beginnings out in Haight Ashbury, out on the West Coast. You had the original flower children. Make love, not war. LSD was legal. Psychedelics were completely legal at that point. Everybody's tripping, and of course, what happened is the age of Pisces began to push back.
Hmm.
And as the energy of the age of Pisces wants to maintain control, little bit of history for everybody. Um, President John F. Kennedy, um, during that time period, early '60s, right? Here's Kennedy. Kennedy did three things, and it was three strikes and you're out. That's why they took him out.
Yeah.
Um, he he said that I'm going to pull this country out of the Federal Reserve, and he printed up dollars that were actually U.S. Treasury notes again, not
Yeah.
Federal Reserve notes. You can see them online. That's real stuff. And then he said that as long as I'm president, we will never send troops into Vietnam. And he said that right on the outside steps of the Dallas Grand Hotel in Dallas, Texas.
Wow.
And then you know what happened about 2 weeks later. Because and okay, at one level, everybody, you have to see that it was CIA or whoever it was you want to think took
Yeah.
him out. Okay, it was not a lone gunman, grassy knoll thing. It was no, there was an inside thing, because he was trying to pull us out of the military-industrial complex that Eisenhower talked about.
Yep. Yep.
But what it was at another level is the age of Pisces was puppeting through all of its tentacles, the military, government, the CIA, all these things. That was actually the middle thing that Kennedy said. Kennedy said he was going to completely dismantle the CIA because they
I
were
remember
completely
that.
out of control and
Yeah.
corrupt. So it was get us out of the Federal Reserve, dismantle the CIA, and then as long as I'm president, we'll never send troops into Vietnam. Boom, you're done. So you have to see it, everybody, at a higher level than just the military wanting to take him out. It's the age of Pisces influencing the consciousness of all those people saying, no, 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 no. Everybody has to comply. So instead, they escalated Vietnam. Lyndon Baines Johnson, of course, escalated Vietnam,
Mm.
right? And they separated the flower children. They sent all the guys to Vietnam. They initiated the draft since the first time since World War II. And they separated the beginnings of the age of Aquarius because that's what all of that music was about. You remember the fifth dimension? This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. All that stuff. That
Yep.
was they were prophets. All those musicians were prophets. Coming, singing, and expressing from their own subconscious mind what was really going on. So the age of Pisces just keeps pushing back, and that story that is a very short version of a really big body of work for me that we're talking about now, is the second level. The first level is the military industrial complex just taking out Kennedy, trying to control everything, separating the men and the women, going to war, all that stuff. The egregores, the conjured spirit of the age of Pisces, wants to maintain control because it still has influence in the world. We still see around us, and the whole world is building Piscean age technology.
Yeah.
Everything is Piscean age technology. But while this has been creeping on since the mid 40s, 1940s, there's more and more Aquarian age energy coming in. And that's why, as the Aquarian age energy comes in, the age of Pisces can't maintain control And B, that's why this is the time of the great revelation. Revelation means revealing.
Yeah.
That's why everything all the corruption from all the different levels of government and all the religions, all the stuff that's been going on is being revealed, being shown to people. And it is because the light of the age of Aquarius is illuminating the darkness that we were exploring in duality in the age of Pisces. So this is that war that's going on now. The real war is the war between the age of Pisces and the age of Aquarius, vying for influence and power.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is the big cosmic battle up here, right? So now, at one level, the age of Pisces is the enemy, right? And it's trying to maintain control and its tentacles of influence. And you have all the different agencies. We could do hours and hours and hours about all that stuff.
Yep.
Right? Don't need to. Everybody knows enough about it.
Yeah.
But at a higher level, what the age of Pisces is doing now, if you guys out there have paid attention to it all, if you've done any homework outside of the box, meaning that if you don't get your world information off of Facebook or conventional news exclusively, if you go off road and begin to explore into alternative sources, you realize that what the age of Pisces is actually doing is showing you how absolutely insane the authorities in the world have become, how
Hmm.
hypocritical, how just completely deceptive they've been, how misleading they've been, and how they change their stories every other day. And we could, do 6 hours just on that kind of
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
And the last couple of years have been an accelerated and amplified picture of that. And that's really, it's difficult for people to handle because it's confusing, but it's important because the age of Pisces at this higher level is trying to slap you around and say, Paul, do you see how stupid this is? You know, one mask, two masks, social distancing. Now we're going to do bow to our partner and turn to the left and turn to the right. And now you don't need any of it, but now you need all of it. And now you'll be fine after one shot and then two shot and then three shot and then seven shots.
Yeah.
But it really doesn't make any difference because you can still catch and contract and pass it on. And so, wait a minute, what's going on? And so more and more people are waking up, whether it's um, critical race theory in schools, Common Core education, all this kind of social stuff, which I'm not going to stay on this. Don't worry about this, everybody. I'm just trying to paint a picture.
Yeah. You got to paint that picture.
I really do. And so this is waking people up. For some people, it's the moms and dads waking up and going, "Oh, I don't want my kids having this stuff in school. Wait a minute, look at this stuff in these history books. This
Yeah.
is garbage. What's this? How about math? How about literature? No, 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 no. And for other people, it's the economy going, wait a minute, why did we stop all domestic production to buy 675,000 barrels of oil each day from Russia right now? Wait a minute. What? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? So people are going, what? And yeah, everyone's going to have a different point of awakening.
Hmm.
Whether it's genetically modified food will wake some people up and go, no, wait a minute, that's Frankenfood. What am I doing? I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah.
You know, other people it's Common Core. Other people it's the economy. Other people it's energy. Other people it's whatever it's going to be for them. But the age of Pisces is trying to, as Sun Tzu would say in The Art of War, there are no enemies. There is the adversary, and the adversary is challenging you. He's saying, Paul, are you paying attention to what's going on, Paul? Or do I have to slap you around a little bit more? Does gas have to go to $6 a gallon before you get slapped enough? Does the whole economy have to get shut down again? Well, it's 2 weeks, 2 years. 2 years.
Mm.
What is it going to take to wake everybody up? Or enough people up? Everybody's not going to wake up, but
Yeah.
but but enough people have to wake up to reach a critical mass in consciousness, that 100th monkey principle, the
Yeah.
dominant field, and then we can walk away from all of this into the age of Aquarius, which is how I'll wrap this whole section of stuff up for us.
Mhm.
But I just wanted to paint that picture because the real battle is not against the governments. It's not Republicans and Democrats. It's not liberals and conservatives. It's not Muslims and Christians and Jews and New Agers. No, 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 no. That's people looking down instead of looking up. When you look up, there's two things you have to look at. One is the age of Pisces, trying to maintain control. But then there's the more honorable part of Pisces up here, just a little higher, that says, I'm just trying to teach you to wake up before my time with you is over. Because each astrological age is about 2,225 years.
Yeah.
And his time is done. And the age of is just about done. The age of Aquarius has been getting stronger and stronger in its influence since 1940 something.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so the age of Pisces is doing the honorable thing from a high perspective, saying, let's wake you guys up. I'm doing everything I can. I'm doing everything I can.
Yeah.
But you got to meet me. You got to wake up. All right.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
and this is what's happening in the world today. We could do a number of hours on ways of looking at what's happening in the Middle East and China and North Korea, all of this stuff, what's happening to the environment, and all of this, because I've been a big environmentalist. I've been vegan for 36 years, so I'm pretty much on the track of environmentalism. But there's so much misinformation about the environmental situation, that if you believe the consensus, then you really don't know much of anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I rambling, or am I making sense?
No, you're making sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So I know this story doesn't sound particularly encouraging at this point, everybody. Okay. So, because it looks like we're in the throes of this big thing where Pisces is slapping everybody around or trying to maintain control, or the military industrial complex is just trying to take over the world.
Mm.
The Great Reset, whatever you want to call it, right? You have the cabal, you have all this stuff. But let's look at it this way. If we just work on ourselves, and we just, instead of trying to evangelize any of these ideas to people, the time for really self-cultivation is really essential, and it's here right now. You've got to really work with yourself, serve other people as you can. And as you ascend within your own vibration, and ascension doesn't mean leaving the plane of existence. It just means elevating yourself. So you're not stuck in the issues. You're not stuck in the exterior drama, the simulation out here.
Yeah.
As you elevate, and okay, yeah, you're you're an avatar in the video game, but you're also more than that, right? As you can elevate, and now you're up here. Now, as we get more people awake to the idea of being the avatar in this simulation that we call life, then as those numbers increase and as people's experience of that deepens, our collective frequency elevates, and then we reach a threshold frequency where, just like the Hopi have taught and the Aboriginal in Australia have taught, there reaches a point where none of all of this stuff will even exist anymore.
Mm.
None of those government systems will exist anymore. Everyone's just going to put down all of their anger, all of their separation. There won't be Christians and Jews and New Agers and Muslims. There won't be Sufis and Sikhs and Aboriginals and Inuits, and there won't be any of that. They'll just be people.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll
My
just
my
be people.
my
Go ahead.
question is there an absolute date or time when the transition is absolute between Pisces into the Aquarius, or is it just all this gray space?
That's a great question. My astrologer friend, he's a brilliant mystical astrologer, Christopher Pridham. We started talking about this on broadcasts about 4 years ago, 6 years ago, I think. And there's two paths astrologically laid out for humanity. One is the short path, and one is the long path. The long path, if people don't wake up, quick enough, if we don't shift away from a lot of the things that Pisces is doing at the lower levels of control and manipulation, then we have about a 200-year window,
Oof. Wow.
which, to us is a lot because none of us are going to be here, right?
Yeah.
Right. In that way of thinking. In the processional clock, that's just a little bit of time in the big 26,000 year cycle.
True.
But the short path is the one that we want to take. The
Mm.
short path, the short path gives us, even me, I mean, I'll be 64 next week, okay? Right? So it gives people like me the opportunity to realize that I will live comfortably to see humanity walk away from all of this. And let me narrate what that looks like, okay? In my lifetime. And so as we elevate our frequency, which is what I've been doing with people all over the world
Yeah.
through a variety of means for 34 years of teaching all over the world, all of this. And as we do, then environmentally, all of the contaminants are immediately through the alchemy of frequency, they're just gone.
Hmm.
They're just transcended. All the radiation that's from radioactive waste that's stored in the earth,
Yeah.
from nuclear power plants, all that's gone. All of it's gone because none of it can withstand the frequency that we're moving into in the age of Aquarius. Everything has to do with resonance. This will bridge us into the power of sound stuff,
Hmm.
right? So as we're doing this, then not only will the environment move back into an organic and pristine thing, it's like this is the return to the garden.
Yeah.
This is the return to the garden, is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. So, but all of the governments in their existing forms, any of this kind of stuff will be gone. You know, the neurological thinking that has brought us to this point will be gone. Okay,
Hmm.
the religions, all of the religions that exist in the world will be gone, and we're moving into a whole new era for man. And no one will ever be hungry. There will be no disease, no degenerative diseases. And we'll move back into the place as Homo spiritus or Homo luminous, where we are able to just heal our bodies. If I fall and break an arm or injure a wrist, you put my hand on it and then it's done.
Yeah.
Just we move back into our primordial state. And um, basically, what the ancient texts tell us, and this is where I disagree with a lot of the new age people, the ancient texts tell us that eye has not seen and ear has not heard the greatness and the glory that the gods have in store for man. And this is paralleled in the Bhagavad Gita, the Mahabharata, uh, in the indigenous stories of, again, the Hopi, the
The
Sunni,
Hopi. Yeah.
Aboriginal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just say we can't really imagine what this new world is going to be like because our imagination is framed in this world. It's framed in Chris's world right now, so I can't even imagine it. I've got a pretty big imagination.
Same here.
Right? Yeah, man. I mean, we have some great visions of what we would like the world to be, but
Hmm.
if our visions can't even come close to what the world is going to be, I'm ready. Bring it. I'd
Yeah.
like to discover it. Right.
Yeah.
So I've been working for all these years for the short path, for the short path. I mean, I've watched the earth changes since I became certified in Zachariah Sitchin's work many years ago before he passed away in teacher
Hmm.
training seminars, watching through the information from NASA all the perturbances or disturbances in the planets in our solar system, as we're moving into this different part of the band of the Milky Way. And you have the return of the 12th planet, Nibiru, and
Yeah.
all of these different things that are happening simultaneously now as they are metaphor or symbol for us moving into the age of Aquarius. So no sickness, no disease, no hunger, no governments in their present forms at all,
Hmm.
no religions in their present forms at all, you know.
Yeah.
And compassion is a way of life.
Yeah. Yeah. And since you're working towards the short path with this
Yes,
transition, it's also important to say to all our listeners and viewers and stuff that it's not only yeah, it starts with one and then it grows and it grows, and it has to become a collective. The more people that move into this short path, the quicker this can happen.
that's
Correct?
right. That's right.
Mm.
That and the more assuredly we are of not getting stuck in the middle somewhere between both paths for a while,
Yeah.
which is we're right at the precipice right now, everybody. This is just great for Paul and I to be having this conversation with all of you now,
Mhm.
because we are right there at the Y in the road. Long path, short path. Where
Yeah.
are we going? Where are we going? And um, the Canadians started a big cascade of personal choice and sovereignty and autonomy with their caravan, and then the faces of tyranny show itself from the government's behavior, to its own people,
Yeah.
and that of course ricocheted all over the world with people doing similar things all over the world. And then you have countries dropping all these restrictions. And then through the time of the great revelation that we're in now, more information comes out, and just the COVID narrative is over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not dismissing to anybody, you know, the tragedy of the whole thing, or the severity of the whole thing. I'm just saying that you just have to look at the information and just read the tea leaves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. So now they've shifted the narrative to they, meaning the Age of Pisces, through its puppeteering of world leaders and
Mm.
institutions on our planet, to do something else to maintain fear and confusion. Because that's what COVID was about: fear. Oh my God, the invisible enemy.
Yeah.
Confusion. One mask, two masks. Isolate. Don't isolate. What do we do? Close everything down.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was so confusing. It's like everybody had
Correct.
to shut their business down, but you have all the
You can go to
box.
Walmart.
Yeah, you could go to Walmart. Yeah.
Right. Right. Right.
Like,
But
really?
right.
That wasn't a shutdown.
Correct, correct. And now you and I have been very, very blessed in Florida, because of the leadership in Florida. We didn't experience hardly anything compared to what many places in the country did.
Yeah.
And I hear from those people every week on my calls about what was happening in different parts of Canada, Europe, different parts of the U.S. And I we would just pray and hold space for everybody all the time, because it was just like you were living on different worlds, you know.
Yeah. It's
And
like,
so again,
yeah, it's
right,
like talking to somebody from Mars. It's like,
right,
I'm on planet Earth.
right,
Where are you from? I'm on
right,
literally on another planet. It's like, oh
right.
my God. It's like, I couldn't believe it. It's
I
just,
couldn't. Right, I know
yeah.
it made me feel so sad. I talked to friends within my work, the teachings, from California, from New York, from Canada. Oh no, we can't go to restaurants. What do you mean you can't go to restaurants? I just took Yolanda out. She wanted a steak, and we would go to Longhorn. She'd get a steak, and I'd get a big baked potato, right? You know, right? And nobody's wearing a mask,
Yeah.
right? And people were astounded when I'm telling them these things, you
Yeah.
know. So again, everybody, the reason I'm telling you this is the age of Pisces, trying to teach you to question authority. You remember that bumper sticker out of the 60s? Question authority, question authority, question authority.
Yep.
Whether it's your own personal physician, whether it's Fauci, whether it's the senators, congressmen, presidents, it doesn't matter. Questioning authority is not just a good thing to do; it's your responsibility
Oh yeah. Yeah.
as a conscious person, because you don't just listen to what the priest is telling you. You should do your homework and go find out, well, why is the priest teaching me this?
Yeah. What
Right?
sucks today though, with the digital age and all the technology and even how we're going to be how we're broadcasting and doing this, it's like you're now having authority cut the plug on your questions. We can
Correct.
question it.
Right.
And now
Censorship.
they're pulling the plug. They're censoring. So it's like now you got to find another way to get the information out there.
This is digital book burning.
Yeah.
This is just like the
Yeah.
Nazi stuff, and everybody, so many people, and it's great that Paul, we can talk about this because so many people within the spiritual communities don't like to talk about the external world.
Mhm.
They don't like to be involved in 3D world. When does anybody think you're here in the 3D world to not have a 3D world experience or something? You're here to pay attention to what's going on in the world so you can see it as the metaphor that it is of of the transitional energies that are happening within you. I mean, we're living in the story of the Bhagavad Gita,
Yeah.
where Krishna and Arjuna, are going through that whole thing. And this is the world outside of you that seems like it's going up in flames and falling apart. That's because the world that you've been living in for 2,000 years of incarnations within yourself, that's what's falling apart.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing, it's an organic thing. It's part of this big process. And if people just get it and then elevate, work on themselves, then it all just remediates. It all just transcends itself.
Yeah.
And then we can walk together, you know.
Huh. Now you mentioned that you wanted to touch base a little bit on something about NASA.
Yeah. Um, I mean, again, there's hours of stuff about NASA, but and NASA.
We don't want to spoil too much stuff, then we can, move that
Right.
to another show.
Right. That's right. Just really simply, everybody. Since the early 80s, NASA has noticed a disturbance in the orbital pathways of all the planets in our solar system.
Hmm.
And it's measurable and it's predictable. There's a pattern to it, as though there's something coming in, just like Zechariah Sitchin plotted out from the old Sumerian tablets, the star charts.
Yeah.
The Nibiru, the 12th planet, coming in from a certain trajectory, and its gravitational wake, because it's a really big planetoid. It has a huge gravitational wake, and it's affecting all the planets to different degrees.
Yeah.
And they started getting satellite shots of what they thought was Nibiru almost 20 years ago.
Wow.
And you would never hear about it.
Huh.
Never hear about it. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
Right. And according to Sitchin's timetable of, because it's about every 3,600 year, and that's not on the day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a general pathway of the planet, has its elliptical orbit through our solar system. He said that we're about due anytime within this generation of people for the return of Nibiru.
Yeah. Wow.
So, and NASA, I'm trying to remember the name of this NASA scientist, and then we'll save a lot of the rest of this for other times.
Yeah.
But one of Sitchin's good friends was a NASA astrophysicist and working at NASA for decades. And he showed Sitchin all of these satellite photographs of Nibiru.
Huh.
And Sitchin showed us those pictures at the teacher training seminars I was in, to be in his certification seminars I went to.
Wow.
And it was amazing to hear the stories and all of things.
Yeah.
That are covered up.
Yeah.
Are covered up because another NASA actually stands for not a single answer.
Yeah. That and not need another 7 astronauts.
Right.
Wow.
Oh God.
Man.
Yeah. And
now Nibiru, that I have all the books from Sitchin, but it's like I've never had the time to sit down and read them.
They're very dry.
Except for the 12th. Yeah, it's very dry reading. And a
Yes.
lot of them repeat themselves. There's a lot of information that just repeats itself. It's like,
Yep.
well, let me get deeper into this particular thing in this one book.
Correct.
Um, Nibiru is that suspectedly the place where the Anunnaki originated?
Correct. Yes, that's the planet that the Anunnaki lived on,
Yeah.
and um, they had developed technology on their planet probably about 150 years advanced from where we are right now.
Yeah.
And this was about 450,000 years ago. That's how advanced they were.
Yeah.
You can imagine where they are now.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
according to Sitchin's timetables
Yeah.
of the Sumerian tablets and the star charts. So they had contaminated their atmosphere, and they were looking for another place to possibly live, but B, they were actually looking through our solar system for a planet that had an excessive amount of gold, because they had destroyed a lot of their ozone layer. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they had thought of suspending particulates of gold in the outer bands of the atmosphere to reflect a certain amount of the radiation,
Yeah.
to give them time to try to figure out how to fix their problems. So the king on Nibiru, his name was Alalu, came to Earth. And this is all in the Sumerian tablets. And Alalu, in his own records, as he's traveling in a spaceship from Nibiru through our solar system, he describes all of the planets of our solar system before they were even discovered, before we even knew the outer planets existed.
Wow.
And these, yeah, it's good because these tablets that were scribed, that were dictated to on the Sumerian lists, they're about four to 5,000, 5,500 years old.
Ooh.
So it's way before Copernicus, Galileo. I mean, it's way before anything, right?
Wow.
That's and the Sumerians knew that the Earth wasn't the center of the solar system or the center of what they would call the universe. You they knew
Yeah.
all that. They knew about the sun. They knew their star charts were exactly NASA accurate all the way out.
It's almost like the Dogon tribe in
It is.
Africa.
It's exactly like that. You're right.
They were talking about Sirius B,
That's right.
and well,
How
they
are they going
didn't
to know
call
about
it Sirius B, but it was, that was the star system. But they were talking about that long before NASA could even prove it existed, and then realized that Sirius had a sister star.
Right. Right. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just hugely amazing, and it begs you to listen to every little word that these people have to tell you about the nature of your own existence.
Yeah.
But yet people don't.
Yeah. It's
Right. I mean,
yeah.
right.
We need to wake up and start, going back to the ancient texts and start reading these ancient texts, or what we could read, or what
Right.
has been pulled and given to us, what is available to us.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
man.
So that's just a little bit of NASA stuff, everybody. We can do, you know, a huge amount of time just on a lot of the stuff that I learned from Sitchin himself.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, as far in your the Blue Star Mystery School that you have, you started that. This year is the 35th year, 34th
Yeah,
year.
I've been teaching for 34 years. This will be the 35th year coming up. And the mystery school teachings are a part of what I teach. It's not everything.
Yeah.
The mystery school teachings have their origins in other star systems, but as they anchored themselves into Earth, we were known as the House of the Blue Lotus, and that's from ancient Egypt in the Temple of Dendara.
Oh, okay.
And that's the only temple that's dedicated to one deity, and that's of course Hathor, the birther, of all.
Huh. I've got the
So,
Zodiac. I have a Zodiac on papyrus. It's from Cairo. Have it in the wall in the living room. It's the Zodiac that's on the ceiling that
on
they
the
found.
ceiling.
Yeah, they found Zodiac in Dendara. The Dendara
Yeah.
temple. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I laid down on the floor and just watched that. I could have stayed there all day. Did you go when you were there? Did you go downstairs?
I
Like,
didn't. I haven't. I got it from a friend from Cairo. I've yet to go
okay.
there. That's on my bucket list, definitely.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and but yeah, I mean, I've still to this day, I tell everybody, even a lot of the mediums and stuff that I work with at all our spirit fests,
Yeah, yeah.
about my connection to Egypt.
Sure.
Even during my ayahuasca experience, a lot of my ayahuasca experience, what brought me back to some of my past life experience in Egypt.
In Egypt, right?
In Egypt during
Yeah.
biblical times, during Jesus's times, there and whatnot, and yeah, even an entity as an entity. I think he might. I'm not sure yet because I probably haven't asked the right question, but I'm not sure if he is an of the Anunnaki, but he is one of the original ancestors of the Homo sapiens sapien that brought us the technology, uh,
Cool.
pyramid technology and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
kinds of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And he goes by the name of Emu Negas, Emu Negas or something like that, if that
Wow.
sounds familiar. But
Huh.
yeah, it's, I could do another show about that.
That's that's
So,
cool.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I find it every now and then I'll pick up on some research about, Sitchin's work, on Eric Van Daniken's work.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and even today, a lot of people have been hooked with, the History Channel's
Ancient
episodes of
aliens.
Ancient Aliens and stuff.
Yeah.
And now
Sure.
it's become a cult phenomenon.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
And just the most important thing that Eric Von Daniken says on all of those programs is never stop asking questions. The
yeah,
answers are less important than asking the questions.
yep, yep. And that's why I like the book. I have an original copy of Chariots of the Gods.
Yeah, me too.
I
Of
found
course.
an
Right.
original copy from the
Yeah.
1960s.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it on eBay for, I think I bought it for like almost $100, but still, it's the original copy. But the whole book is like, he's not telling people, he's asking.
He's
And that's
asking
what we should
questions,
do, is just
right?
ask the questions. Yep. And
And
let people decide for themselves.
isn't that a great statement to reflect on the society today where when people dispense information now, they're trying to convince you and tell you what to think
Yeah.
when you look at the flavor of society now. And again, this is the egregorious of Pisces just doing its job, right? Rather than being like Eric Von Daniken, where a real teacher doesn't tell you what to think. A real teacher gives you information and lets you draw your own conclusions,
Yeah.
your own observations, and just teaches you about never stop asking questions. I mean, that's a real teacher right there.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing.
It
Oof.
is. That's great. So that's a wonderful thing to have one of the original copies, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's fun.
I've got a couple. Every now and then I'll get into this book craze, and I'll try to find an original or something. I do have another original. It's from the Saint Germain Press. Heck is the name of it? I used to have the bookshelf in here, but the studio is being
Like,
re-renovated.
like the I am
Um,
discourses, or
yes, the I am. It's
yep,
the I am, and it's the one of the original.
yeah,
It's all printed in purple ink. Those are
right,
awesome books. Awesome.
yeah.
Oh man.
I'm not sure whether the one Yolanda and I have is it printed in purple, but it's really old too.
Mhm.
Um, but no, those are cool things to have.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and a buddy of mine got me. I have I think it's a 4 book collection of H.G. Wells' um, history of the universe, or history of history of the world. Yeah, history of the world.
Hmm.
Um, got the whole set of those. Um, what's that other book? Hamlet's Mill.
Hamlet's Mill,
Got
right?
the original copy of that. Um, yeah, it's just I think the books that I have on my shelf are pretty dangerous. Every time I look at the bookshelf, it's like, oh man, it makes me reminds me of the movie Fahrenheit 451.
Right.
So hoping that we never move towards that path. But
Right.
yeah,
Right. And I I think that there's enough slapping around being done right now of humanity that people are waking up in droves
yeah,
and questioning everything at whatever level they're waking up, and that waking up is waking up.
yeah,
If you wake up because you want to eat better food, you're still waking up. If you wake
yep.
up because of critical race theory, you're still waking up. If you wake up because of what's happening in Ukraine, then you're still waking up. I
Mhm.
mean, waking up is waking up.
Yeah, yeah,
And if you wake up because of your own meditative practices and cultivations, then you're still waking up. But it's no more or less awake than someone who's questioning the other issues. It's just
yeah,
different. I mean, when you wake up, you're waking up. It's just where are you tuned? And
yeah.
this is something that everybody's got to get really clear about. It's not higher or lower, better or worse. Everybody's got to wake up, and they're going to wake up in their own way. So as we do that, you have to have the wisdom to be able to see that and to greet people where they're waking up at, not where you're at, where they're
Yeah,
at, and walk with them.
yeah, yeah.
Because no one wants to walk when you're awake and everyone else is asleep around you. No one wants to walk that path by themselves. It's very upsetting because you know you're different, but you don't know what's going on, and nothing seems the same as it was before,
True, true. And I'm sure
right?
there's a lot of people out there too that are in that level of confusion, don't even know where they are.
That's
Whether
right.
they think they're waking up, but they're not quite sure, or they know they're at a level of being asleep, but they yeah, they're kind of, and we're all still, a little bit confused, but it's like,
It's an awkward time. It's an awkward time. It's not meant to be comfortable. It's meant to be like itching powder over everybody. And
yeah,
and it's meant to just keep you on edge so that you're awake and you're a little bit grumpy about it all. But we got to keep going, and just keep the faith, so to speak, and just be happy in your heart. Do
yeah,
your own personal work, elevate, and just do it. And I think that we're going to take the short path. I think we're going to be living a transformative life, and we can follow up on those types of things and other types of interviews as the months unfold in front of us,
yeah,
my friend.
yeah, yeah,
And
definitely down the line. And
yeah,
for those listeners and viewers and stuff that are interested in your work and want to learn more about you, learn more about the Blue Star Mystery School and
the sound
your
work
other
I do and
teaching
all
and
of it.
the
Yeah,
sound work and whatnot. You can find them on his website, Christopher Tims, TIMS.com. And also at the same time too, we can find you in Sarasota on the
that's right.
2nd and 3rd of April at Spirit Fest, which is going to be at the Robarts Arena
Yeah,
in Sarasota. So if you're in Florida during that time, come out to Sarasota. That is the fairgrounds, right? That's the
yes,
Sarasota
that's the
fairground.
fairgrounds. I'll have the
Yeah,
motorhome there. They have hookups for your RVs right there. So if you guys
yeah,
want to come for the weekend, they got hookups. I think it's $30 for the night to hook
yeah,
up, and you got full utilities. It's supposed to be a really nice spread for us.
yeah, yeah.
And I'll be doing tunings. What I do at the expos, and I'm at all the Spirit Fest expos, um, is I'm one of the things I'm known for is my sound work. And I've been a musician all of my life. I started playing the violin when I was 6, the drums when I was 10. I played professionally on and off throughout my life. I'm a bit rusty now, but uh, once a musician, always a musician.
Yeah, yeah,
And I wanted to bridge my mystical nature with my music. So about 36 years ago, I began developing a system of healing and delivering specific frequencies to the body using tuning forks because it's a more precise application because of what's called the size of the waveform. Then using crystal bowls, Tibetan bowls, gongs. I do all that too,
Yeah.
you know, but that's a different type of application. And you've seen me working on people, and you've heard some of the results,
Yeah.
from people. It's been amazing work,
And I've
and
also had a session with you.
yeah, it's true.
I think that was at the last year's Sarasota event.
Yes, it was. It's been too long. I have to get you and Nemo on the table. Both of you
Yeah.
guys are just like running all around all the time,
Yeah.
And I've tuned him a couple times, and he's always just like a bee, just you know.
Yeah.
And so I also I build a really premier line, the best sound tables made in the world, and I made the first truly portable sound table system for massage therapists, chiropractors, physical therapists, occupational therapists, all of it, energy workers. And I sell them primarily in North America because they're way too expensive to
Yeah.
ship internationally. I mean, shipping is insane.
Shit.
Um, um, so the sound table is a way of delivering sound directly into the body as a complete therapy system all by itself.
Mm.
So when you come for a session with me, we choose music, and you get to have the music that you want for your session.
Yeah.
And because the physics of music is the same, whether we're playing rock and roll, classical music, whether we're playing drums or didge or ambient music, new age music, the physics of the music is the same. And the sound tables are built to cradle the coccyx, the base of the spine, and the cranium. And it sets up standing waves, unravels your spine, opens your hips, opens all the way up to your atlas and your axis just by laying on the table.
Yeah.
And then the tuning forks act like power washers. And the tuning forks just go through your energy system, your Merkaba, and they just clean up your whole chariot, your whole vehicle,
Wow.
from your feet all the way to the top. And as you see me cranking people out on the weekends, yeah, I do an average on a busy weekend when I have two tables going. I'll do between 60 and 70 tunings in 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Man.
It's just I'm a tuning machine when I get there,
Yeah.
and um, and it's amazing. People get off the table and they can't believe what 10 minutes just did.
I remember you telling me about this woman with a cat. I think she was at the lake. I think she was at the lake. She was either at the Lakeland one or the one up in Jacksonville. But you said when you first met her, she couldn't even walk.
She was on a walker.
Yeah.
She
And
was using a walker, and she
now
had
she's
a
walking.
brother and her mother there. Kind of, she was like walking like she was 85, 90 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then where was it? She had a booth at the expo. She was running around selling stuff, and her mother and her had a booth. No walker, no walking stick,
Yeah.
you know, and
Wow.
that's a pretty common thing. There's a number of practitioners that go to our expos. One of
Yep.
the ladies from South Carolina um, had a lot of different issues. 10-minute tuning, and she's never. Her chiropractor said you don't have to come back anymore.
Wow.
Whatever this guy did, you don't have to come back anymore.
Yeah.
And uh, the key issue with the tuning fork work that I do is that it's non-diagnostic, and everybody, I want you to get this. So, the age of Pisces is all about diagnosing you. Oh,
Mm.
you need this, you need that, you need this frequency, you need this and this. But no, I worked for a number of years and developed what I call, when I'm teaching the class, a divine template. And this divine template of sound is the same for every human being, every dog, every horse, every animal I've ever
Mm.
worked on. Horses are amazing to work on, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And um, so when someone lays on the table, I don't look at their symptoms. And there's a part of the class, Paul, called the art of the healer. And in the art of the healer, you have to train yourself not to look at someone as a sack of symptoms.
Yeah.
You have to see them as divine, precious, and sacred. And when you do, you're initiating a healing reboot all by itself, and you haven't even done anything yet. Just by not buying into someone's story, I have cancer, or I have to walk with a walker. She said she was diagnosed with lupus, with something else. Gosh, I mean, debilitating things, you know. And one tuning, and she's walking around and has a booth at the expo.
Huh. Wow. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her mother was working with her at the booth and wrapped her arms around me and said, I can't believe it. I just can't believe this. I said, you have to believe this.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so everybody, this is the difference between Aquarian Age healing work and Piscean Age healing work. I'm also trained at the Hippocrates Health Institutes of nutrition, diet, exercise, juicing, fasting, live foods, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the classical approach to that type of nutrition is you don't diagnose symptoms. Everybody's just basically, when you go to Hippocrates, they assume you're a toxic waste dump.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to detox you, and then we're going to remineralize you. We're going to strengthen you, feed what's right within your body, and then your body will heal itself. And it does.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Naturally heal. Yeah.
It does. I've watched so many stage 4 cancer patients walk right out the door.
Oh.
The doctors told people at Hippocrates, you got weeks to live, put your affairs in order. And then people would spend their last dollars going to Hippocrates because they had heard, that there were things that happened there.
Huh.
And, you know, I learned a lot, obviously, working there for long periods of time. And then I started doing session work there to accentuate what was already going on.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing thing to see. And that helps everybody. You are inherently whole and complete. You're not inherently broken. You are sacred, divine, precious right now, not after you do this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And when you own that within yourself, then you can impart that to the people you work with and talk with. And I think you feel that, as you're around me at the conferences, there's a confidence and a strength and a centeredness and a groundedness just with me, because I'm so strong in that presence.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I tell pretty much every episode I do on here, I stress it a lot, is for those who have not been to a spirit fest, go to a spirit fest. At
You
least
got to come
check
to
it
Spirit
out.
Fest.
Yeah, it's its own energy. And when I wouldn't say I'm scared to leave on the end of the weekend, but I'm sad to leave on the end of the weekend.
Yeah, me too.
It feels like summer camp.
Yeah.
It's like the amount of energy when you walk into that place. It's like, wow. It's like going into a Lowe's. You could be there all day, like an amusement park. It's amazing.
It is. And you know who got me doing Spirit Fest is my wife.
Wow.
Because I didn't want to do any more expos.
Yeah.
I hadn't done expos for 20 years.
Wow.
20 or 22 years, probably. No, about 20 years, Paul.
Yeah.
And because everything got stupid expensive and it's just all turned into commercialism. And I didn't like the energies of the big whole life expos and all those things that were years ago,
Yeah.
I just didn't like it. And then Yolanda said, I get a big hit on this lady. You got to call this Mary Ellen lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't do it. Then a week or so, did you call Mary Ellen? No. Call Mary Ellen. Yeah. I mean, it was weeks that went by. And finally, she just sits me down and said, okay, you're talking to Mary Ellen. So when I talked to Mary Ellen, I thought, this is fantastic. There's something really special here. And of course, Yolanda throws up her hand and said, I told you, I've been telling you, and I actually think it was months. I don't think it was weeks. I think it was months it took me to call her.
Wow.
And
Wow.
then I've been just in, and as you know, I just love everybody that's there. I mean, it's a very special group of people. We have a core group, everybody, of readers, mediums, people that do healing arts, vendors that are at pretty much every fair.
Yeah.
There's a core group, and there's a periphery of people that come and go depending upon their location because they don't want to travel that far. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
understandable. But the core group is just fantastic people.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you, Scott,
Yeah,
Nemo. There's a couple others. Can't think of them. There's so many. It's literally turned into a family. You know, you see him, well, I'll see you in a couple months, or I'll see you next month, and different city in the state and stuff. And um, but yeah, I people who haven't been, you at least go, check it out.
they do. I
Um,
mean, it's just great. Some of the people I at the last expo, I had several of the mediums and psychics that were within eye shot of me, but they couldn't get on the table over the weekend.
yeah,
At the end of the fair, they came up to me and just gave me the biggest hugs and said it was just so great being able to watch you work on people tirelessly all weekend. And it was just amazing. And they just gave me the biggest hugs and said, I got to get on your table.
yeah,
I got to get this done. But you didn't stop. There was no openings,
yeah, yeah. I've
you
got,
know.
and there's a couple mediums and other practitioners out there where I think was it, yeah, it was the Jackson. The last one I went to was Jacksonville. I couldn't
Yes.
make it to the Largo one,
You didn't come to Largo, yeah.
but the Jacksonville one was kind of, I wasn't disappointed with the show. I was just disappointed in myself that I didn't have a chance to have anything done. I had no readings done. I was planning on getting on the table, getting with Scott, and actually having some
Having some
sessions
work
done.
done.
Yeah,
Having some work done.
it was just I left dry. Yeah. So
That's where Jim and I did our Q&A, and then you had to get us to do the picture at the very end, and neither
yeah,
one of us
yeah,
were like we were just trying to get out of there, at this
yeah.
point, right?
I need a
Remember?
picture. Yeah.
It was a good picture too. You captured that really well. That was really nice. And I wanted to thank you for your work with that, getting that. Um, I enjoyed doing that with Jim.
Yeah, that was a good Q&A. That turned
Yeah.
out very well. I wish I could have gotten a better angle, and the
Next time,
yeah, next time, definitely.
he, he'll
That
be
that room
around.
was crowded too. There was the way the tables were laid out, it was poorly.
Yep.
I had time to sit there and kind of like move the tables to a portion to where I could get the camera where it's not in anybody's way and get a
Hmm.
good, a good straightforward
That's
photo
right.
would have worked out well. So
You did great, and we had fun, and the people got some good value out of it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see. Oh, that was a cold weekend too. Um, what was that? There was something I was going to ask too. I forgot what it was. Um, oh well, it'll come to me.
So I'm as well as the sound work and the mystery school work. I build the sound tables. I teach the healing work, teach the tuning fork work, the classes. Primarily, I teach on the East Coast live and in person. I do it also online, live and in person, but I like the live to be with people when I'm teaching.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just much more fun. And
Now, are you going to be doing a workshop in Sarasota next month?
no, there are no big 2 hour workshops.
Yeah,
There are, I think there's 1 hour spots to do things like that. I may do something. Marielle and I haven't arrived at that yet.
yeah,
But uh, West Palm Beach is coming up. Melbourne is coming up. Those Spirit Fests are coming up, and after Sarasota, and I know there'll be spaces for workshops at both of those lecture environments.
yeah, yeah. something just came to mind. Something spirit must have told me to ask you this question because I think other people are dying to hear it. It was brought up briefly on another broadcast, and about Florida. A lot of people are flocking to Florida, not only because it's a free state,
Right. Right.
but that it's got a lot of energy here.
It does.
Atlantean energy.
It does have a lot of.
What are your thoughts on Florida being still the remnants and relative to the lost city?
Oh, sure. You know, as you go out towards the Bahamas, you have all that in Bimini.
Bimini,
You
yep.
know, you
Bimini
have
Road.
a lot of ancient sites just waiting to be formally discovered. They've been informally discovered, as we know, for quite a while. And uh, I started visiting Florida to come and teach, 34 years ago, because I figured, gosh, do I want to go to Canada to teach in the wintertime or go to Florida to teach in the wintertime? Right. So I strategically started my tours in Florida and worked my way up the East Coast into Canada by springtime. Right.
Yeah.
And go on around from there. So uh, um, there's a lot of Atlantean energy here. And to really put it in perspective, right, I've studied Atlantis for a long time. Not just Plato's work or Edgar Casey's work, but um, there was the United States congressman that wrote a whole book on Atlantis in 1889.
Huh.
And I got that sitting on my shelf.
Wow.
Donnelly was his name, and they tried to laugh him out of Congress for that, if you can imagine, right? At that time, but he got all this in dreams about Atlantis and wrote the whole book,
Huh.
and then my own contemplations and insights over the years, from my perspective, um, Atlantis spanned the globe, and it wasn't really in one location. There were several large meta locations, like super city kind of locations.
Yeah.
And one of them was off the coast of Florida and would have encompassed Florida as part of it,
Hmm.
including Bimini, the Bahamas, Florida, that whole area into the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
That whole thing is part of an Atlantean hub. Um, Another big Atlantean hub is Tibet.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
and um, in the Tibetan texts called the Kanjur, which are the oldest and most complete records of the earth, period.
Huh.
And only 5% of them have been translated into English the last time I looked.
Yeah.
All right. You know, and the Dalai Lama and his circle, when the Chinese invaded, um, they smuggled a whole set of the Kanjur, because it's made in copies, of course. You know, they smuggled a whole set with them, as 300,000 of the Tibetan people fled through the Himalayas into India when China invaded. So
Yeah.
his dreams, warning them of the Chinese invasion, they captured or they collected the Kanjur and other ancient texts and a lot of their original materials, and just by lamas walked it all through the Himalayas into India.
Wow.
I mean, if you can imagine that,
Huh.
right? And but in the Kanjur, it talks extensively about Atlantis, and they said Atlantis reached all parts of the world.
Hmm.
So it because the Atlantean civilization lasted over 50,000 years.
Wow. Huh.
So if you think our country, a little over 200 years ago, was just sitting on the East Coast, and then in a couple hundred years, it's filled up coast to coast. Not filled up, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
settled it. There's roads, there's paths, there's travel. Imagine 50,000 years, you would be spanning the globe.
Jeez. Huh.
And there weren't in Atlantis, there weren't separate countries or nations. It was one
one
nation.
society. Yeah,
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. One republic, whatever you would call it. And they lived under the Atlantean mantle of their spiritual ideas, their social ideas that span the globe.
Huh.
But I think that here in Florida is one of the key places, and that's why I wanted to settle here.
Yeah, yeah. And we're on one of those nodes too, one of the ley lines, the energy centers.
Intersect.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
It is.
This is a great place to be, Paul, and this is um, where we're supposed to be. To do what we're doing right now for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting time and an interesting era for human history. I think I truly think we're on the precipice of a short path.
Yes,
Um and for anybody out there who wants to be on that short path, who wants to see that short path. Um like you said, we're on that Y right now. We're on that you're going to take a left or we're going to take a right. And we're going to take that right to the short path. So
let's
let's
do
take
it.
that short path. And, for those who want to take that short path, but want to know more and want to be informed and want to change their vibration and feel that, okay, I need to change my vibration. Um, definitely get a hold of Chris if you want to learn more. You can find him on www.christophertims.com.
That's right.
Check out his information. You can also find a lot more information, all the contacts and other information on our Conscious Radio Network website. And Chris, I'll have all of your information. All the the video will be on the website after broadcast, and after the premiere, and all of your contact information will be on the resource page. So people just click on the resources, boom, and take it all your to all your information. And
That
definitely everybody who's listening, watching, go to check out one of these fairs, get on his table, check out the table. You sell the table, like you said, you sell the tables and stuff,
yeah,
if you
I
like it.
hand build every one of them
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
scratch.
Yeah.
This is not a big production thing from China. This is
Exactly.
hand built by
And
me and
yep.
signed by me. Every table is
Yep.
signed and numbered by me.
Yeah. So anybody out there who's, look who there's we've had a lot of light workers on the show. And we're all light workers, all of us. We're trying to help change the direction of the human race, helping raise the vibration. And for those out there who feel lost or just I don't know where they are, they're in horse latitudes, for Christ's sake. They don't know where to go, but they feel a change. They feel that they're being directed somewhere and wants to learn more and want to become a light worker. They know that there's a directional change, but they don't know what to do and how to do it. This is the show to listen to. This is the program to listen to. That way we can have more guests like Christopher on the show. And coming out to the Spirit Fests will be awesome. That way you can firsthand experience the technology and the work that Christopher here does. So can you believe it's been about an hour and a half already?
I believe. I was just looking at the clock. I thought, no, come on,
right?
That's true. It's true.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to share with everybody, and we can draw this to a close because we could just do this for hours, I think.
Oh man, yeah.
And I've followed the work of David Icke for 30 years. I read a lot of his books, and one of the things that David Icke said that about this time that we're living in now, and what he's learned about it all in all of his years, it really was very impacting. I think everybody will benefit from it. When he went to Peru and had his first ayahuasca experience, it blew the top of his head off, and he said it took him just months to really kind of let himself gather back into where he was going to be. He didn't want to go back to where he was. He wanted to go to where this left him, right?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
wanted to, and he said that was really hard for him. And so for years in his life, with what he had uncovered about conspiracy theory stuff and the cabal and the Illuminati, all he wanted to do was get rid of all these evil people. It was him against them, good
Yeah.
guys and bad guys, and he wanted to blow up the Trilateral Commission and the CFR and the Council, everything, right? All of it, just. And then he said he realized that the best way we can remedy ourselves of all of this is to just love them.
Yeah.
And he said, really, he said, you have to love them. You have to love all of them. And he said, it's not really a choice. They're here. And they may be showing you things that you don't really like. But if you love them, they don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
imagine millions of people loving all of that, loving the world leaders right now instead of trying to do battle with them, right?
Yeah.
Instead of writing and wronging them, depending upon your opinion. It doesn't matter. My opinion doesn't matter. They deserve my love.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's transcendent to my Chris opinion.
True. Yeah. Because
Right?
love will eventually distract the evil and cover
Right.
up and dispel it.
Right.
And
And that's what he said. And I heard him say that we were watching a live telecast. He sold out Wembley Stadium
wow.
in England in 4 hours. Sold out the whole stadium for a live full 8 hours. He talked for 8 hours. Took a 1 hour break in the middle. He was unbelievable.
Wow.
And that's when he told us all this story of his ayahuasca thing, and when he realized that his whole thing was to love them. And then he was playing music and he's dancing on stage and he had his big smile on his face. He said, we're just going to love them right out of our lives.
Yeah.
It's just
Wow.
and so everybody, whether you agree or disagree with any of the leaders, anything that they're saying, it's okay to have your opinions. I do. Just ask me. I love to tell you, right? But the thing is,
Yeah.
that's not going to help the situation. If we bless them with our love, then they transcend themselves and everybody wins.
Yeah. Yeah. Because eventually the age of Aquarius is gonna settle in
That's it.
regardless.
That's it.
Regardless.
And then we all get to walk together and discover what it is to be human in the age of Aquarius all over again.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's amazing. It's
It is
amazing where we're
amazing.
going. It's gonna be a cool ride, man.
Yep. It is. It is. And it's nice to be able to share it with people like you, where we can talk, get this out on the airways, and with the friends we both met at Spirit Fest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tend to be rather solitudinal. Yolanda and I both do. But I'm surrounded by 1,000 to 1,500 people at every Spirit Fest, so it's
Yep.
a little different.
And they're getting bigger too.
That's
I'm
it.
hearing we outgrew the one in Sarasota, which is
Yeah,
why
we
we're
did.
going to be at a different venue. So
That's right.
yeah.
It's a good problem.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Awesome. All right. Yeah. Let's see. What time is it? Yeah. Yeah. We're good. But yeah, we'll let's look at doing another show and stuff. Maybe narrow in on something more specific. I'll put a poll out there and get people's, we'll get people's opinions through
that's
as
good.
time moves on after, when this is on you, because we've got so many comments from Jim Vieira's stuff on there and from the Q&A. I'll ask, and I'll ask now, what else do you want Christopher to talk about? You want to talk about ancient civilizations? You want to talk about the mystery schools? You want to talk about the sound technology that he works with? yeah, I mean, you know, and you know, we'll get the listener support and listener feedback and stuff, and then we'll go from there. So
It'll be great.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah,
And
we'll let them frame it.
yeah, yeah, cool. Well, I guess this is the end of the road for today, and I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it, Christopher.
Yeah, it's all
Now, do
right.
you prefer Christopher or
Yeah,
Chris?
I've always gone by Christopher.
Okay, all right. Because sometimes I'll refer you to Chris, going, "Well, that's too many syllables, man." I'm like,
And that's okay. I get it. Uh, just since I've been a boy, I've always gone by Christopher.
yeah, right on. Cool, awesome. Well, Christopher, it's been a wonderful show. And again, everybody subscribe to the channel. Don't forget, before this video is over, go to the bottom left or bottom right of the screen, hit subscribe. And the more subscribers we have, the more benefit we can do, and the more people we can get out there and get sponsors and do all kinds of cool stuff. And go check out Christopher's website, christophertim.com. We'll have more information on the Conscious Radio website, Conscious Radio Network website. And come on out to Sarasota, April 2nd and 3rd.
That's right.
That'll also be on the website, One Stop Shop. So
Thank you very much for having me.
You're very welcome, Christopher. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good night. And thanks for watching Conscious Radio Network.